welcome to Spurs Vision TV. Good evening to all you guys in Asia, and of course, good afternoon to all you guys in Europe, and of course, especially in UK and London, especially, and of course, good morning to all you guys in the Americas, North and South America, right, and of course, Canada, right, where most of our good friends come from, right, like Scott M and Brian Daigle, right. Let me just go to the chats, right. Big up, right? Big up to Ravi Bikri. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Uncle Ross to hop on. Let's see whether he remembers the show is on. Of course, welcome Nippon. Nippon at the moment is he won't show his camera because he's doing something more or less, it will be considered not legal in the United Kingdom. Actually, not legal anywhere in the world at the moment, right? And of course, we got Dr. Ramlan, and I've got another guest coming on, Keshaf, right? Today, I guess we're all a happy bunch. Hi, Keshaf. We're all happy today, right? We all won. West Ham won, Spurs won, Chelsea won. Like Nippo's been saying, we won a game. We won. Nippon, after how many games did you win? 7?
If we had gone 7 without a win, we would have so many 007 James Bond memes. So thank God that didn't happen.
Oh, that means you won on the 7th game, that means.
No, we won the 7th game. So it's actually 006.
006, okay. No, it's still one MI6 MI5 number down. Somewhere there. I'm sure there's a 006 agent somewhere out there.
Nah, but the main star is 007 and always will be.
Yeah, of course. We all love
we can go in. Look, I can talk about the James Bond franchise all day because I'm a very huge fan of it, but this is about football.
Yeah. That we're not going to movies. We're not going to go into movies, right? But guys, good weekend for us. I'm not sure. Hopefully there'll be a few more guests jumping on. I guess a lot of guests today jumping on will be winners, right? And we'll all be happy, right? But of course, why don't we just go on to the first game, right? Since Nippon's here, we'll go to this one, right? Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 3, right? I guess at the moment, to tell the truth, I didn't watch the game, but I was just like monitoring in the background, right? Because the Spurs game was on at the same time, right? I'll go to Nippon. Nippon, since you're a Chelsea fan, right? Since can see the.
I was at work when the game was happening.
Oh, you're at work. The game's happening, right?
So, but I saw the score and I was like, thank freaking God.
Thank freaking God. Not Frank freaking God, right? Oh, no. Because the game wasn't easy for you guys, right? If I'm not mistaken. Big up, Ben. Big up. Yeah. It was.
We did not make it easy for ourselves. Like, when we went 1-0 up, I was like, nah. This is too good to be true. So then we conceded. I'm like, it's over for us. It's over. I don't know what happened, but we then just scored 2 in a row, 2 within the space of 5 minutes. I'm like, this isn't very Chelsea-like, is it?
Yeah, late goals. Yeah, and quite late goals too, right? All in the 86 minute onwards or something like that. Or maybe,
all after the both after the 86th minute.
Yeah, so I guess a win is a win, right, at the moment. So I guess you guys will be happy because it takes you beyond the 40-point mark, right? Because you guys were stuck. Okay, I guess Keshaf's got internet connections. He'll be back soon. You guys were stuck at the 39 points mark for such a long time, right? For such a long time. So there's no qualms of no fear of being pulled in the relegation battle at the moment.
Well, we are mathematically safe now.
Yeah, mathematically safe, right? Doctor, your thoughts on the Chelsea game, right?
I only saw little highlights. I think it speaks so much about the resolve of a team that when you are 0-0-6, that sort of bounce, chances are you'll get the win someday. They're all good players. They're all great players. I'm sure it'll all come together nicely. And if they can hold their form and bring it to the next season, it'll be a good thing.
Yeah, hopefully, right. And also not to say that the next question, most probably, I'll get to Keshaf first before I ask Nippon the next question, right? Keshaf, Chelsea, Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 3. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did watch it. I was quite surprised actually because I thought, Bournemouth actually has been sort of the surprise package this season. Most people were actually voting for them to go down, but actually, I'm quite impressed with how they are actually been playing for the side they are. They're on good form. They're maybe sitting comfortably in sort of mid-table, and I think this was a game I thought Bournemouth can actually nick something out of it, and actually they actually played quite well. But actually, to be honest, I'm quite shocked with how Chelsea played. But I think in a way, it was a matter of time if you ask me for Chelsea to get the win. But I feel as though Bournemouth had a lot of chances to score, but I think Chelsea were very clinical in the end. But still, this doesn't shadow away from the fact of their shambles this season Chelsea have had and how poor they've been. But I did watch the game. I thought Chelsea, after they scored the first goal, I think they gained confidence and they went to make it 2-3. But I think it's quite bit not to say worrying because you see if Chelsea lost this game, the fans just get upset and the discontent and the fears of them going down as well. Currently, all of that has been sort of diminished because now they've reached the 40-point mark and yep. So no, good for them. But I think to be honest, I think besides Chelsea, I'm quite impressed with how Bournemouth have been playing. Really, they've actually, to be honest, have sort of competed against the top sides like Liverpool, Spurs, and they don't have the best of players, but they make good use of it, which I'm quite pleased actually because I know it's a different team and how they play is impressive. Yeah.
Okay, fair, right. And to come to it, right? Nippon, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Because to tell the truth, right? Being Spurs and Chelsea now, right? And of course, Keshav, right? Keshav is total moist out, right? So we are managerless at the moment, all right? And with all the rumors coming in that Poch most probably will be your manager, right? That will break a lot of the Spurs fans' hearts, right? But how do you feel?
I've been saying this to a lot of Spurs fans who are mad at Poch and potentially Kane for leaving. Poch for going to Chelsea and Kane to outside of Tottenham. Don't be mad at them. Be mad at that bald fraud who's allowing all of this to happen.
Yeah, I know. No, but I mean, not saying being mad, right? The expectations of Poch coming into Chelsea. How do you feel about it? Are you going to get excited or?
I'm a bit skeptical. I'm not going to lie because he wasn't my first choice. My first choice was all. Huh?
I mean, who was your first choice anyway?
Luis Enrique.
Ah, that's interesting.
Then it was Poch was actually my fourth choice.
Fourth, my gosh! All right, who else is down that list of yours?
Julian Nagelsmann second.
Okay.
Antonio Conte third.
Oh, you want Conte back? That's interesting.
I wouldn't mind him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Poch is fourth, right? Yeah, but I think with the young players that you guys have bought, right, recently and all that, I guess it more or less Poch and Nagelsmann will be more the perfect fit, right? And big up to Luca. Hi, Luca. How are you doing? Right. Hope to see you one of these days. Catch up with you, right? But for this time being thing is that, but some or another, it's been 2 weeks or so, right, since that link that what call Poch has been linked to Chelsea, and it still has not been settled. It's not been announced. Are you feeling a bit nervous about this at the moment, or you more or less confident that Poch is coming?
I'm a bit nervous, but quietly confident.
Okay. But being a football fan, we sit and wait for our managers to turn up, right? There's always other rumors like of course, we most of our fans want Poch back. We have been linked to Nagelsmann, right? And now at the moment, there's a big rumor out there saying that Poch and Nagelsmann they're actually waiting for the Real Madrid job, right? If let's see who doesn't get it, we'll more or less go to you guys to come to us. That's how we say. Luca says, right, Conte is a good shout, right? Back to Chelsea. All right, yeah, Luca. maybe. But the problem with Conte, will he work with the players that Chelsea has bought, right? The young players and all that. But I guess if Conte does go back to Chelsea, most probably he might have a very good chance at staying a bit longer there. But I think at the moment now, Conte will want to go back to Italy, right? Right at the moment, right? Since he's enjoying himself back in Italy. Doc,
Yeah.
your thoughts, right? Poch to Chelsea as a Spurs fan. Have you got any, this?
I read some strange articles recently. I can't remember. I can't say from where. I can't remember offhand. But there's one that says that with Poch the delay is because he's negotiating his staff's salary, right?
Ah,
Once that has been settled, then he will tie up his own situation. Then the announcements will come out. So that's hence the delay. Um, but there's also a lot of rumors flying about that he's still pining for Spurs and all that. I think that's probably a bit of a stretch. And as for Real Madrid, I think recently the chairman sent out a vote of confidence for Ancelotti. So I think that's basically maybe something that will not be available anytime soon. It will probably be in the next few years and all that. So I feel there's a bit of all this due diligence and the processes and all that that is going on when somebody new comes in.
okay. But like I say, the Real Madrid job has always been a very fickle-minded job, right? Because
Yeah.
the ambitions of their fans are so high, they want to win everything, right? And the thing is that now, since I don't think they will be able to catch Barcelona, right, to win the Spanish
No.
title. Yeah, but they really won the Copa del Rey, right? So if they won the Copa del Rey, and let's see what happens during the Champions League semifinals. They're going to play against Man City.
Okay.
So if they get kicked out and get top by City on the way out, then maybe Ancelotti's time will be called. But if they do get through to the final, right, and if they do win the Champions League again, I guess most probably Ancelotti will stay, right? But Keshav, at the moment now, since we've been talking about managers, right? You are a big Moyes out guy, right? And among the managers that's been floated around between our three teams here, right? Chelsea looking at Poch, very very close to confirming him. We are looking at, I don't know who. Every day we get one new one, right? Arne Slot, Nagelsmann, Glasner, right? And somehow or another, we ain't looking at Poch, right? That's what's been told, right? Poch is never been a consideration to come back. If you really get rid of Moyes, who do you think your owners will go for?
I think that's a good question because I think these past few weeks there's been a lot of managers linked to the West Ham job, especially. I think I'll give a few of them out. One of them is former Roma manager Paulo Fonseca. I think he was closing in for the Spurs job, I think 5 years ago.
Yeah. Hold on. Yep. Fonseca was going to come, right? And then there was something to do with his taxes that didn't want to be paid, right? So somehow or another we got Nuno after that, right? All right, big up Tony Rodriguez, big up, leave you out, in out, calling out. Yes, big up guys.
Yeah.
Big up.
So as I was saying, one of them is Paulo Fonseca, which I to be honest, I quite like his style of play. I watched a few of I've watched some of his
Where is he now? He's in France, right?
He's currently in Lille. He's doing quite well. I think they're fifth in the League One, which is quite impressive. But the other managers which are linked with us are quite interesting to me because I mean, some of them are obvious. I think I'll give two of them. Probably one of them is Graham Potter and Rodgers, which I kind of like. I don't dislike both of them. I think they're really good managers, but just not sort of for the elite like Spurs or Chelsea. They're not fit for those type. And the other one in which we are linked with is Celtic manager Ange. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Postecoglou. Yeah, so he's one of the options. But like I said, if you ask me which one I would probably prefer, I think I like to go with a different style, a different type of manager. I mean, I wouldn't mind someone like Fonseca. I wouldn't mind someone like Ange. I don't want to go for. Don't get me wrong. I like Rodgers. I think he's a really good manager. I think he's won some good trophies at Leicester and Celtic and all that. But I feel like I want a manager who can keep the club in a stable position. Can keep continuing the growth of the club. When I see Rodgers, don't get me wrong, he might come in for 2 years and do a really good job, and then suddenly may decline a bit, which I don't want. Or maybe Fonseca might give it, maybe 2 years, 2 seasons he might do and then a decline. So I don't want that. I want someone who gives maybe manager fresh ideas, different style of play, more possession, more progressive football, which I want. I think the Celtic boss does. I've seen a lot of games how Celtic. I think I'm quite impressed with because this manager, I think Anji I think he was from a Japanese club, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the Celtic team have a lot of players from, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from the Japanese clubs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's
So
good. They've got 2 or 3 players from Japan
yeah,
at the moment.
so
Yeah,
so
playing
it's quite
Celtic.
impressive, yeah, and
Mm.
it's quite interesting if we do get him because I'm not sure how he would implement. But like I said, there's been reports I think today that said that Moyes might still stay. So, but like I said, I'll come to that a bit later. But like I said, I still want him to go.
Mhm.
That doesn't
Okay.
change really. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know you've been voiced out. Let me give a big shout out to Brian Daigle, my brother, my Enoch and Libby out brother. Take care, bro. Right. I'm not sure how the protest went on Saturday. We'll hopefully get a chat on that later. Right. But at the moment now, in the manager go round that we all called it, right? At the moment, things have been going on in this way. Of course, Keshaf has as a West Ham fan, right? You guys are looking at trying to secure your Premier League position,
Mm.
right? I mean status, right? And at the same time, you're in the semi-finals of the Conference League. Who are you guys playing in the semi-finals of Conference League?
We're playing Dutch side Easy Alkmaar.
Oh,
They're, I think,
AZ.
third in the
Yeah.
Eredivisie. So they played
Mm-hmm.
Ajax, I think, last week. They,
Mm-hmm.
I think, drew, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know much about them. But what I do know is that they have mostly, I think, a young squad, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have, I don't know, they play much more of like an attacking style. I'm not really sure, but um, yeah, to be honest, I think I'm very excited. I'm really excited because I think it's last season when we faced Frankfurt, the way we started from the first minute, I didn't like, and it didn't work for us, and we didn't manage the game well. We got a red card, and I think when I look back, I think I feel like, especially this game or this semi-final, I think we were learned from that. There's a few lessons we can take from that game and we can put in this game, like how we can manage the squad. And like I said, let me tell you this: we have a very good team, and it's not like we're not the favorites. We are. I think we are considered as one of them. But now to me, it's whether we want to really show it, the type of football we play, how we press the ball, the passion, dedication, all of these things are very important for us to go and win it. And I'm just focused on the first leg. We're playing at home, 60,000 fans. We'll be buzzing for the game. We'll be fired up, and I'm not gonna say confident, but I'm optimistic that we can get the win because I feel like now the confidence is there, and I have a strong belief that this is the time where we can really go for it. Um,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
All
it's
right.
very important.
That's a good one. Yeah. But of course, you know, how would you say that, right? I'm sure the confidence that you guys have, right, after getting the result, right, in the weekend, right, against you know who, right? This is the one. And to tell the truth, would you call this an upset, Kisha, for you guys?
Good question. Before the game, actually, I was actually not that really. I wasn't that optimistic of a win. But I told myself, no, I think we can get a draw. Because I feel the past three games we've not really. I mean, we've shown that we can score goals. We've had moments which we attacked very well. But in terms, I have to tell you this: that VAR has been very cruel to us these past few games. Really bad. I mean, the number of decision making and the refereeing decisions that have gone, it hasn't gone our way really. Okay, I'll excuse the Palace game because I thought that we didn't deserve the win and we were quite lucky to score those three goals. But what I would say is that um, the Man City game. Look, I watched the game. I mean, to be honest, I expected it to be a loss actually, and when you see Man City, the way they play, it's very difficult to go toe to toe with them. But I thought actually I saw the first half, and I think we actually defended very well. I watched the game, and we were very compact. We didn't give Man City the many chances. And I thought, okay, let's maybe we can try and nick a point because the belief was there. But then I think as Man City as always, they find somehow to sort of scrape the goal. And I thought the first goal, Aki scored. We didn't cover that marking of man well. And then of course, to be honest, I didn't think Man City played really well. They just had the third goal was Foden deflection, and then the first goal was a header by Aki. All these are very individual errors. It's very easy to concede all these goals. So if you can stop conceding these goals, then we have a chance. But I think I thought, okay, Man United is a different opposition. It's not Man City, and I watched the game yesterday. And look, I think to be honest, it was one of the best performances I've seen this season. I mean, I have to say that we were actually phenomenal in every department yesterday. I mean, the way we played, how we pressed the ball, we started to press Man United. They didn't have much opportunities. Russia could have, I think, in the first like 5-10 minutes, Anthony could have scored with his left foot, and then I think Russia had another chance. But when you face a team like Man United, um, it's tough because you need to be able to defend and mark your men well because they have some quick players in their side. But I always kept saying, the way if we play like that every single game, we won't be in this position. We'll probably be 7 to 8 if we continue playing like that. So I was like very shocked with the passing and the movement, and Bowen played so well, and Antonio bossed the attack. Caused Lindelof and Shaw a lot of problems. And I thought that again, Declan Rice again phenomenal. He kept rallying the team. The midfield was phenomenal. I thought the defense especially was very good at times. Agod defending the blocks. I thought Suchek had opportunities to score. I thought Kara was fantastic dealing with Rashid at the left. Then they brought on Sancho to see if they can deal. He kept defending that well. And to be honest, I think the man of the match is Paqueta. To be honest, I think he's been sensational these past few games. If you would have watched the match, the skill and the flicks and the turns that he does for the way because when I watched the game, he was playing as a deep line midfielder, so you're picking up the ball from the back. But the way he's like a very I would say he plays the ball in a very calm. He doesn't rush. He will find the way to pass the ball well, find the spaces to score. But I tell you, the Brazilian flick and turn was incredible. So it was nice to watch this team or how we played because to be honest, it's been a shit season for us. Really, it really has been a shit season. I know how it feels to be in this kind of position.
You feel it's a shit season because of where you are sitting in the league position. But you're talking if you're in the conference,
of course,
European Conference League semi-finals, it doesn't seem to be that bad. Big up to Scotland. Good morning to you too. He's from Canada, right? Lucas asking this question. Look, I'm not understanding. Where do Spurs go in the summer? Is it for a pre-friendly summer, or you're talking about where do we go in manager-wise, player-wise, and all that? I'm not sure. I will come to that question later, right? But if it's about location, where do we go in the summer? I think for the pre-friendly, it's going to be Australia, then Singapore, if I'm not mistaken. Australia first, then Singapore after that. Right? We've been Australia.
Before Singapore, I think it's Bangkok. I think so. Bangkok, Singapore.
Bangkok?
Yeah, I just heard just now. I was very surprised.
Oh, wow.
Then Perth, I think Perth in Australia. Yeah.
Perth in Australia, Bangkok, then in Singapore. If there's a Bangkok one, I don't mind going.
Singapore, Perth. I don't know what the sequence is, but it's Bangkok, Singapore, and then Perth in Australia.
Okay, so it's Bangkok, Singapore, then Perth in Australia, right? But before we continue, let me bring on another guest, right? I think he's debuting on Spurs Vision TV. He needs to get his Spurs Vision introduction. Hold on, guys. Earphones. Guys, in the chat, be careful. This is going to be a bit loud. Hi, Corey boy. Okay.
Oh, yep. I'm good, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah. How you doing?
How
you
we
doing?
doing? Oh, yeah. Just Monday seems to be going so slowly so far. So
Yeah. Corey, should I call you Darren or Corey boy?
Yeah, call me Daz. Call me whatever you wanna.
All right. Corey boy's a Spurs fan, and he's based in the UK too, right? So
yeah, I'm based just in the lovely town of Brighton, down on the southeast coast. So
okay. Southeast coast in Brighton, yeah. That's a nice city to be in at the moment, right? Brighton.
Beautiful city to be in at the moment. I mean, we've got Brighton playing tonight. Against Everton. So the traffic's absolutely chocker getting to the stadium at the moment.
Okay. That's fair. We've been going through some games, especially now, the West Ham game. At the moment now, let me give a shout out to Leo from my High Hotspur. Big up to Leo. How you guys doing? Right? And of course, Ben Kaufman says that, right? RIP to the earphones. Okay. I'm not sure about what happened to Nippon. Most probably his battery has run out on his laptop, so that's why he's going in and out. Let me see whether he's coming back in again. Yes, he's coming back in again. Hold on. All right. Doc, West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. Were you surprised?
I was quite surprised actually. I thought maybe they could make a draw or something like that. But when I saw the live updates and all that, hey, 1-0, so it was quite a surprise. I saw the highlights after that, and I think it was quite a competitive game, where Manchester United were trying to gain the upper hand early on. There's some close shaves and all that from Bruno and all that, but it was a breakaway goal, right? Ben Rama suddenly found himself surrounded by three, and he was a sort of a bobbling ball, and he deceived the goalkeeper, I think. So there you go. If he needs to go in, he will go in like anyway, and if he will stay out, he will hit the post, several different times. There you go.
It's nice to see the likes of Newcastle and United actually trip up this weekend. It kind of gives me some hope that we might be able to pinch fourth spot, but we're still 5 points behind. So
who knows, eh? Who knows?
Yeah. But that's always the hope that kills you, right? And especially Aston Villa losing to Wolves, right? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, the stars have aligned, right? Spurs has got it.
All your eggs in one basket, for it to be squashed.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of Declan Rice going up to the young fan and giving him his shirt? The little boy cries. Oh man, I was like, oh man, that's class from him. Actually earned a lot of respect for West Ham there just in doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm a Spurs supporter, so you're supposed to hate West Ham, Millwall, Palace, Arsenal, anyone else in London that isn't Tottenham.
Yeah. Let's put all the Spurs supporter on top, right? Yeah, and we've been talking about the West Ham game, right? And
who would?
Yes,
who
Manny.
would have known that being a supporter of a London club would, immediately inculcate? You'd have to inculcate so much in terms of hatred. I mean, I realize that club football is a little bit tribal, but still, my goodness gracious me.
You could say that about international teams as well. That's a country tribal thing too. That every sports team has their cult, sort of like tribal followings of players and fans.
Yeah.
Like I love the NFL as well. I'm a massive Steelers fan, even though we haven't done nothing in 15 years. But I'll still watch every Steelers match.
Oh yeah. Don't go there. I'm a 49er fan, right? So.
Buccaneers for me, at least in recent times, we have a Super Bowl, but of course now with Tom Brady having continued his retirement tour 2 seasons too long, how do we rebuild?
I played for sport for 13 years after my injury, so it was all good.
But to come to it, right, I'm sure all of us here sitting down, right, the West Ham 1 and Manchester United 0, it's more like a surprise result to us, right? We were all feeling that most West Ham will get a draw, okay? And when West Ham scored early, we were saying, okay, they scored their goal. The Manchester United still has a chance to come back, right? But I think this West Ham game is a game which is a precursor to their semi-finals in the Europa Conference League. So that brings up the confidence of the West Ham team to go forward and do something. Because if not mistaken, Keshav, you're saying your first leg starts at home, right? So that will give you guys confidence to go against AZ Alkmaar. right, from the Dutch side. That side can't be underestimated too, because they are third in the Dutch league,
of course,
right? So, and the Dutch football style and all that will be a big contrast against the way that Moyes play at the moment. So, and like what I'm saying, like even Doc feels that this result also is not expected result, right? So yeah. So there it goes, right? And let's say for money, it's so simple for you guys, right? I mean, West Ham beating Manchester United is more or less nothing much to do with you, because you're so far ahead of us, right? It's like for us being like Spurs and Spurs and I won't say Chelsea. Chelsea is Nippon. Are you there, Nippon? I'm not sure whether Nippon is there or not, right? But especially for a Spurs fan at the moment, like West Ham beating Manchester United is like giving us a bit of hope that maybe we could catch up, like what Corey Boy has been saying, right? We can catch up to the 4th spot, which is, I don't think we'll get it. I know we'll be too far off. The only thing is the moment now is that do you think Liverpool will be able to catch up with Manchester United? That's the only thing, right? That's how I see it.
It is a good question, and I'll tell you what. A lot of people have started to, consider Liverpool to be the sort of sleeping giants that could, remain dormant for quite a bit of time, and then suddenly time their run to perfection, and then, just sneak up on you and get it. It's exactly what Manchester City have done to us. So this does have some connection with us. It just goes to show that, no matter how well placed you may be, you cannot afford to relax at any given time. Because the moment you drop your guard or start to get a bit too cocky, your opponents can smell blood and just overtake you. There is, of course, a post right now on Twitter. I believe the original point was Arsenal can only finish 1 or 2nd. So let that sink in. We were 8th, we were 5th, and now 2nd or 1st. That is the result of the season so far, so the process should be trusted. The boys became men, battles won everywhere. The pain from last season has been rectified. Jorginho was a steal. And a lot of people were trying to change the narrative by saying we didn't bottle it. I've said, yes, we did bottle it, because we were 8 points ahead, with or without games in hand, regardless, and then we bottled it twice. And certainly last season, obviously like this season, our opponents had games in hand, but last season, of course, we had games in hand on you, and we bottled that badly. So just a minute, please, sir.
Yeah, he's got a phone call coming in. Okay. Nippon's go hop in, hop out again. Nippon, go hop in, hop out. Right. But yeah. Talking about the little after we'll go, of course, in depth into what's happening with in depth we'll go in depth what's happening with Arsenal, right? Being a Spurs fan at the moment. I think that is the only joy that we're gonna get out of this whole season, is watching you guys being top for such a long time, and all of a sudden, now you're 2nd. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just another reminder that, the early pace setters in a marathon don't go on to win the race. And so we have to be very careful. So we did bottle something. And so having spoken for so long about how we're top of the league and we deserve respect and we're going to win the league, to suddenly slip up at the worst possible time and end up, not winning anything, that does count as a bottle. And so a lot of people are just trying to have both the penny and the bun. They're trying to change the narrative of sorts and say, we should still give ourselves some credit. I'm sorry, but these fans don't get to have it both ways. So back to your original question, Liverpool can definitely come back and snatch something, and certainly they're coming into form and momentum at the right time. And City and United are having a dreadful slump. United need to sell De Gea. I don't care if he ends up winning the Golden Glove Award. He is the best shot stopper in the league, but in terms of all-round ability, he is seriously lacking. Dreadful on crosses, and also is simply unable to play from the back. And I can point out at least 3 other goalkeepers or more who United could sign. But if United aren't careful, they could very well be usurped by Liverpool. And of course, you've got to play Aston Villa at Villa Park. And of course, you'll remember how they beat you at Villa Park. But for what it's worth, with Lloris out for the season, you're not going to have that much in terms of defensive shakiness because at least Forster's a bit more solid.
Yeah, but Mani, to tell the truth, right? Villa beat us at home too. So this game at the Villa Park, I'm not sure how that's going to go, but somehow or another, the results at Wolves against Villa, right, more or less helped us, gave us a bit of breathing space, right? But of course, we're not going to talk about that. Corey Boy, West Ham, Manchester United, have you got any thoughts on that?
Pardon?
The West Ham in Manchester United game, have you got any thoughts on it?
I was shocked, to be honest with you. I had one of my mates, he's a bloody hammer by all things, but he messaged me as soon as that goal went in. I was trying to get my son to sleep, and I was just, all I heard was goal, like, for 30, 40 seconds on a Snapchat, not Snapchat, WhatsApp message. I was like, you've got to be kidding me, right? I looked at the phone and went, yeah, 1-0. Then straight away messaged my mate that was working down in Brighton train station, your lads are losing again. Look at you, 2 losses in a week, kind of thing. Yeah, but I'm deeply surprised by some of the results this weekend alone. It's been a bit of a crazy weekend for football in its own sense.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. The results that we never expected, and all that. But and then somehow or another, the results now have actually pulled us back into the top 6 race, right? So that's the other thing. But of course, not to forget that Brighton's got the game in hand later.
Brighton got 3 games in hand.
Yeah, they've got a game coming up. So let's see how that goes, right? And of course, before we go to the Spurs game, right? Let me get to this game. Of course, Mani, if you're still there, right? This is the game, right? A lot of people expected it ain't going to be easy for Arsenal. I'm not sure Mani is there or not. So let me get to Keshav first. Keshav, right?
Yep.
Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2, right? I guess this game, a lot of us were expecting Newcastle to win, right? And the way Arsenal has been going, right? And we were expecting it to be a more of a. Did you watch the game?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah. And very entertaining actually. And I thought it was going to be, like I said, a very nervy game because now Arsenal, they need to keep their lead or keep toe to toe with City. And I thought this game actually they showed what they're all about. Arsenal, they didn't panic. I thought Kiwior coming into the defense of Arsenal, I thought was a little bit concerned by it because I wasn't sure about what he would do or how he would play. But I thought he played quite well actually, Kiwior. I think the most thing I was surprised about was that Arsenal limited Newcastle to not much of opportunities. And it sort of helped Arsenal in the way they transitioned to play. And I thought Odegaard was sensational. That long shot he did was such a good goal, and of course that gave momentum. I thought Newcastle, Newcastle have been great this season. They've had quite a good season under Howe, and they've got. I realized that this Newcastle side has got they're a very energetic team. They play progressive football. They like to play out from the back. They've also got some physicality within them, which is good. So I thought all of those things would sort of hurt Arsenal, but actually, to be honest, it didn't really hurt them. Trippier tried to do crosses, but it didn't come out well with the striker's head. So overall, I think Arsenal deserved the win, actually. I thought Arsenal controlled the game. Martinelli caused Trippier some problems. And yeah, good victory for Arsenal, But I still think Man City are going to win the title regardless of this. I can't see, to be honest, I really can't see Man City slipping up right now. They're just too good. And, like I said, they played us last week. And, even though they drew in the first half, they will find a way somehow. And that is what you call a good title winning side like Man City. So, if Arsenal could have got a couple of more points, then maybe I'll say yeah. But right now, it's done really.
Okay, fair. Right, but at least the game where Arsenal is coming into, right? Because we are Spurs fans, we expect them not to get through because this game was pivotal for us in the top 4 race last season, right? Because Arsenal lost 2-0 at Newcastle, and that was when they started to wobble and they fell off, right? And we got some momentum, and to tell the truth, we pushed on, right? And a lot of people were seeing this game, Newcastle against Arsenal. Newcastle should have the upper hand because they're at home. And in the end, when the result turned out to be 2-0 Arsenal, were you guys surprised? That's my question. Let me go to Corey Boy first. Corey Boy, Arsenal, I mean, did you expect this result, or you were expecting Newcastle to be more?
I wanted both teams to lose. Being a Tottenham fan, you want Arsenal to lose, but then you want Arsenal to beat Newcastle to give us Tottenham fans some hope. I wasn't surprised by the score. Again, it was one of those. I'm going to say this as a Tottenham fan. I didn't watch the match. I watched the highlights and match of the day, and then listened to the pundits talk about how great Arsenal were playing. I'm like, I have to sit there and shake my head sometimes. Like, they beat a Newcastle team, which a few points behind them in the league. You'd expect something to happen in that match.
To be fair. Doc, did you watch the Arsenal Newcastle game?
I saw the highlights. I thought that Arsenal would win anyway. All right. I just felt, and it would just be good anyway, because the nearest to us is Newcastle, right? So I thought, hoping against hope. If anybody needs to lose points, let it be Newcastle, because then it will be between Manchester City and Arsenal anyway. Okay, at first and second. So third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So it's quite a battle. So we'll see how that stacks up in the end. But I watched some bits, and I felt that Newcastle missed the trick. They've got some good progress and all that, but they've sort of fallen a bit off, and I think they probably, if they're not careful, they'll be looking at sudden loss of form, in the final stretch. So at the end of the day, we will see how things pan out. I'm always open to see good football, and I have enjoyed a lot of the football that they have been playing. And they've got good strikers and all that, but they were just not on for this match. Sorry.
Yeah. And for M Tamizi, big up M Tamizi. Thanks for your support, and thanks for being on the show. And because of what we're talking now, right, between the Arsenal Newcastle game, like what Doc you were saying, right, it didn't matter whether you wanted Arsenal to win, so at least it will pack back Newcastle to bring them closer to us. But the problem now is that if I look at the tables, right, the fight for the title is actually in M City's hands, right? They have, how you say, they've played 34 times, right, 82 points, and they've got one game in hand against Arsenal at the moment.
Yes,
right?
Yes, they do.
So they need, and then they got one game in hand. So if they win that means they will have a clear 4 points ahead of Arsenal. So that doesn't make much of a difference unless somehow or another M City all of a sudden the refocus is back into the Champions League. And we know that Manchester City has got 2 top class squads, teams, the first 11 in their squad. So so there's no matter what happens, if they lose one player in one position, they bring in another top class player to
I think we can safely say that they've got 1 foot in the door. So it's too early to say, but it seems like it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. And as I see it at the moment now, even Newcastle at 34 points, at 34 games played at 65 points. Manchester United, the same thing, right? They have played 34 times at 63 points. Liverpool and Spurs, we've played 35 games, and to tell the truth, we are at 57 points, right? So even in the end, we win all our 3 games in hand, right? We only get 66 points. So let's see how that goes. Will Newcastle lose all their games? Will Manchester United lose all their games, right? For us to catch up, right? And of course, money is back. Money, as Arsenal fan at the moment, like you were saying earlier, right? Being top of the league for like nearly 85% of the season, 85, maybe 90% of the season, right? And now you're not. So, and beating Newcastle, does that give you a bit of hope that maybe you still have a chance of catching up to Man City?
No, it doesn't, Eugene, and I'll tell you why. Because once again, as a lot of people have said, we've proven ourselves to be no pressure FC. When the pressure's effectively off, we step up. But when the going gets tough, the tough is supposed to get going. But when the going got tough, we got up and got out, and we only got back in when the going got a little bit easier. I will give Arsenal a great deal of credit in saying that this was a game, given Newcastle's run of form, that we weren't expected to get anything from. Maybe a draw was perhaps the best thing we could have hoped for. But after riding out the initial storm from Newcastle, we hit them well on the counter, and we kept ourselves defensively solid. Huge shout out to Jorginho and Jakub Kiwior for the parts they played. And once again, we've got people, completely falling over themselves to congratulate Ramsdale over a terrific reflex save in the second half. It was a good save, but not really a save that any top goalkeeper wouldn't have made. But I suppose, given the context of the situation, it was a rather important one. But the real game changer was Kieran Tierney, once again replacing the fake left back in Alexander Zinchenko, providing that defensive solidity. And it was from his block that Martinelli went on that run, which led to the second goal, the own goal by Fabian Schär. So you can see that when Martinelli and Tierney are in the same team, Martinelli plays some of his best football and has the time of his life. But because of the arrogance of the manager to stick with this ridiculous inverted nonsense, Martinelli is at times left to fend for himself. He has a lot of trouble adapting to the situation, and we've seen his performances suffer. But when he and Tierney combine together, it's just a lot better. And with regard to what Scott said that Newcastle said about Newcastle letting themselves down, I would probably have to agree, because they showed that despite their good form, they don't really necessarily have the temperament needed to really sustain their Champions League run. I mean, of course, they could end up gaining maximum points from their next few games and end up sealing it for themselves anyway. But they're going to have a lot of work to do in terms of trying to, improve their defense, because Dan Burn isn't a left back either. You could say that he's an inferior Alexander Zinchenko.
And Dan Burn's a centre back. Coming from his Brighton days, he's a centre back.
Exactly. So neither he nor Zinchenko are suited to playing that particular position. And we also sort of take a look at that and realise that Eddie Howe got away with daylight robbery by playing Dan Burn ahead of other more decent left backs like Matt Targett and Paul Dummett. I mean, you buy Targett from Aston Villa as a left back, and then you hardly ever play him. So, listen, our title challenge, as far as I'm concerned, is over, because when I take a look at the way City are playing and the way Guardiola has it drilled into them that they've got to make sure they win each game and manage it very well, I simply have no hope of Arsenal catching them, and we've got ourselves to blame, because we've had 8-point leads. We blew them twice. We showed that,
takes you back to Newcastle years ago when they were winning the league, and old matey boy was like, I love it when we beat that lot. 8-point lead down the toilet, and then Man United ended up winning the league.
That was a 12-point lead, mate. I remember.
It was a 12-point,
It was in the Kevin Keegan days, and so we're not going to catch City. And even last season, when City choked in the semi-finals of the Champions League to the same opponents they'll be facing tomorrow and next week, they still went on to win the league. And a nice piece of trivia is that Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus were a part of that team that choked in the semi-finals. Go figure.
Their secret agent sent to Arsenal to derail your league.
Or maybe.
City agents, if you will.
And big up to Robbie, a Lily White Dane, right? Big up, thanks for coming on, right? And of course now, we'll get to Keshaf, right? Keshaf, any more thoughts on the Newcastle Arsenal game before we get to the main event?
Like I said, I think it'll be interesting to see how the top four race goes on, because I feel like, now you currently see Newcastle and Manchester United currently sitting third and fourth. To be honest, I feel Man United might drop a few more points, really. I don't think they're going to actually finish the season strongly, because I feel like, I don't know, I just got this sneaky feeling that they might drop a few points. And I feel like many people are not really focusing on Liverpool, because, never know Liverpool right now, before Liverpool were 12 points off, I think, if I'm not mistaken, off fourth. Now they do have a chance, actually, to, somehow maybe get fourth. So it'll be interesting because I do feel you got Brighton, but I think Brighton are facing Arsenal next or City if I'm not mistaken. So maybe they might drop a few more points, but it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. All right. Since now we've gone through most of the games, of course we're going to go to this game, right? Spurs against Palace.
Now we can only beat Palace 1-0 after the dominance we showed in the first half.
Right. I'll let the neutral fans, right? We call them neutral fans, right? We're all Londoners here at the moment. London supporters, right? London team supporters, right? I'll come to Mani first. Mani, Spurs Palace. Did you watch the game?
Sadly, I didn't. I did catch a few highlights. I mean, I was actually thinking that in as much as Palace have improved, they were due a bit of a blip. And of course, they came against a Tottenham team, which I will give you credit, Eugene. You lot do seem to have a knack of being able to pull out some results, even when your fortunes aren't exactly the best. And this was a win that you needed, really, especially given the way things have gone of late. And some of the damaging losses that you've had.
Got
obviously
3 positives to add on that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I think a win is a win. You can't look a gift horse in its mouth, and I think you said it perfectly. For all the domination you had, it might have been disappointing to have only gotten the goal, but still, a win is a win, and I think you pretty much proved that Hodgson's Palace, although they've started scoring goals again, they do have quite a few limitations. So, yeah, I think the spirit that you showed in that game is something that you should take pride in. Whether that'll be enough to maintain your charge, I mean, obviously you've got to play at Villa Park and then a few other games. Of course, Brighton are in the mix, but they've also got to play the worst games of football Scott's ever seen. Lucky that I missed it. Well, I mean, it's that sort of a perspective. I was really focusing more on some of the other games. I don't quite remember what games I was watching on Saturday, but Sunday, of course, was my big game. But so I think at least now you at least show that you're able to you can win games if you have the right focus. But again, obviously with everything that's gone on, I think this season it's almost like in some cases a write-off in many ways. And I think once you get that new manager coming in, you can hopefully reset. Whether it's going to be Nagelsmann or even Xabi Alonso, hopefully you'll get some coaches who will at least offer some sort of a clean break from the Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho style of football, at least in theory.
Yeah, in theory. Well, of course, big up to Ellie. Big up Ellie. Yeah, he says hi, Eugene. Big up to the panel. Yeah, big up Ellie. Right, she's a great supporter of all the Spurs YouTube channels, right? Keshav, I guess you didn't watch this game, right? Highlights again?
No, I didn't watch the game. Yeah. I only saw the highlights. Maybe good goal from Kane, but I think he had to dig deep. I don't know. From what I'm seeing, he had to dig deep to sort of get the win. I think Palace also maybe tried to create opportunities to score, and I think to be honest, that's mainly what I can assess regarding the game. And I didn't see much of it. I only saw the highlights, so I can't really comment.
Yeah. But to tell the truth, I think there won't be much highlights, right? Because the game determined. Okay, I'll go first before I get the Doc and Corey Boy into this, right? I was working while this game was on. I put it on record and I went back and I just had to scroll through it because it was very boring until it was something like, I reached home and I was actually, putting the phone, all right, while I was having my shower, and then we were in the 45th minute plus injury time kind of scenario, and Kane scores. That's it. Then after that, I feel at the moment, because I was, to tell the truth, surprised because of the lineup. Number one, Dyer was taken away, right? He wasn't in defense. They put Romero in as a center back. Some of us were saying that when we went in attack, we were a 4-4-2. When we went back into defense, we played a 3-4-3. Right? It's what maybe Mason's been doing is to maybe let our team adapt to certain formations while the game is in progress, right? Not so stagnant, right? But of course, it was said, Ellie saying it's a hard fought 3 points, really cohesive defensive play, no Dyer, no Maya. Yes, that's the point. No Dyer, no Maya. Right. And of course, to big up the stake, Alexander
She
Hilton.
took away one of my positives there.
yeah. But the thing is that, like what Mani says, right? 3 points is 3 points. Positive for us. And for me is that while I was scrolling through the game, right, after recording it, and I didn't look at the any of the BBC pings coming in and all that. I was just hoping we haven't conceded yet in the first 5 minutes. We haven't conceded yet in the first 10 minutes. We haven't conceded yet. Okay, we've passed 20 minutes. All right, it's got something positive there now. We haven't conceded yet. So, but of course we've died there, right? And of course, big up to Guguma. Big up.
Guguma.
Guguma, big up. Right.
She's everywhere, right. Guguma. Love her.
Yeah, Guguma is everywhere. We have to get Guguma back on one of the shows nowadays, right? Because the thing is now Guguma's a bit busy. Right. I'll come to Doc. Doc, Spurs 1, Palace 0. I'm sure you watched the game, right?
No.
Oh.
Nowadays, I'm very philosophical. What I do is, que sera, just wake up in the morning and look at the highlights. Basically, is that. But the thing, when I caught the replay, because with the win, I wanted to see, because the thing that fascinated me was the formational and tactical flexibility. You see, because if you're all playing 3-4-3, that's all, 3 at the back and all that, what happens is that you become far too predictable. So I just wanted to see how well this was working. It's going from 3 at the back, and then when attacking, and then 4 at the back when defending. How the transitions work, because it has to be automatic. It's not something that you have to say, we have to ring the changes and all that. So then that's something I wanted to see. I'm pleased to see. There was a time when we were not pleased to see Emerson Royal at all. But nowadays,
I don't think Emerson had too much of a bad game, to be honest with you, Doc.
Oh, he played well. He played very well. He was very, very pleasing to see, and because he's not expected to do something that he's not good at, to attack the wings and all that. So he just basically is a defensive player. So I think he did very well. But the thing was, that's what I wanted to see in the first place. Of course, the stress of seeing out a 1-0 lead, okay, all the way through the second half was a bit too much for me. In the end, watching the replays, even watching the replays is a bit stressful. And I feel that at the end of the day, these sort of games, I just want to see the signs that going forward, even though we only have a transitional manager, and things might change, and there might be a sea change, and everything might be totally different when the new manager comes. But I wanted to see more commitment, more enjoyment, and more joy from the players playing.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And of course, we got the Mark Cousins, right? Mark was there, right? Unfortunately for that game on Saturday, right? It was most torturous, right, thing I've ever seen, right? But of course, we got the Eva Man from Hong Kong. Big up. She says now, Leicester is going down. They're 3-0 down at Fulham. So Leicester might be going down. So Emma Goat, yeah. Emerson coming in, right? So that's one thing, right? And okay, better late than never. Big up, Uncle Rod.
Boy, sorry about that, man. You know what it was, yeah? I'll speak to my friend. Yeah, to the early hours of the morning still, because she's going through some stuff and everything that. So I was speaking to her to the early hours of the morning, and literally overslept. Do you know what I mean? Like, I must have got off the phone to about was that after 9 this morning? After 9 o'clock this morning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I literally overstepped, and then I kind of like got up and I freshened up and all that, and then I looked at my phone. Then Ravi sent a message, said, "Oh, I'm supposed to be on your show." I'm like, "Oh," you know what I mean? So come in for like 20 minutes or so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no worries, right? But at the moment now we're talking about the Spurs game, right? because before I get to Corey Boy, let meet Uncle Rods, Corey Boy, right? I'm sure you know Mani and Keshav, we've been on together, right?
Yes. And the rest of the gang.
Pick up the ideas, right?
Nice to talk with football fans that are actually football fans, not just being tribal about their team. You know, it's refreshing.
Yeah, no, that's right. My shows usually we do about football, right? We go through
Appreciate
it. Uncle Rods, at the moment now, we're talking about the Spurs Palace game, right? I'm sure you didn't watch it, but have you got any kind of inclination, or did you get the highlights or anything like that?
No, I just think at the end of the day that in regards to Spurs, they need to sort of like how can I put this? Get their shit together. If you know what I mean, they need to do that because Spurs at the end of the day is a team with a lot of history. Do you know what I mean? You can't doubt that. And the way they are now is, to me, and if I was a Spurs fan, I'll be thinking it's unacceptable. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? The way that Daniel Levy's treating the club, the way that some players,
not just the club, it's the fans. He's shitting on all of us.
Yes. I 100% agree. Do you know what I mean? Because one of the things that I did not agree with is when they got rid of Mourinho, right? Instead of keeping Mourinho and they till sort of like the end of the season and then get rid of him, and you would have won a trophy, they chose to get rid of him at that point because they like if they got rid of him at that point, they wouldn't have to pay out so much money and so forth and whatever. Didn't agree with that. And if you look at the Spurs, look at Spurs as a club, do you know what I mean? It's been in disarray ever since. Do you know what I mean? Ever since they got rid of Pochettino, it's been in disarray. Because Pochettino came in and they've been that, right? He may not have won anything, but what he did at the day, he steadied the ship. He steadied that ship and for that, and got them some kind of continuity. Do you know what I mean? So I always think at the day, sort of like, you know, Spurs is a club now. You need to get consistency in getting results. Do you know what I mean? And things have got to be sorted out at the top. And when things are sorted at the top, what will happen? It'll filter down through the club, right down to the bottom. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The thing is, all the time Lewis, Levy, and ENIC are pulling their strings. We're never going to get that.
That's what I'm saying.
On the horizon, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Lewis is a billionaire and he's acting like a millionaire. It's such a. I'm going to say it's now. He's a robbing bastard.
Yeah.
Next to the other two chumps that he's put in charge of the team, I haven't been to Tottenham since White Hart Lane was pulled down. Now that's going back some time now. I even refuse to go and watch at Wembley because ENIC and Levy, to me, have run us into the ground so far. I was at the League Cup final when Woodgate towered over Chelsea, slapped that straight to the back of the net with that header. And I was only 14 or 15 at the time. I was there, my granddad, my uncle, my cousin. That's the only time I've seen my club win silverware. And forget about these trinket, like friendly trophy things, they don't count. And it's just infuriating how they are treating the fans. I mean, when I was watching Tottenham away the other day and JP was going around showing there's nothing there to show you that it's Tottenham Stadium. Nothing there. It's just treated as a big business park for them to bring in money, and it's just ridiculous. And us fans have been taken for it so long now.
No, fact. I mean, to be honest today, in regards to the game, Spurs and Palace today, it was a victory that you needed. It was a victory that you needed, and I think Harry Kane scored the goal, didn't he? Harry Kane scored the goal.
Yep. He's 0-9 now. He's gone ahead of Rooney, so he's outright second. So he's chasing after Shearer, right? So And Corey Boy, I mean, did you watch the game? To me, a lot of because I watched the game, it was boring. Like
definitely. I mean, my three positives from that match were win, clean sheet, and Dyer nowhere near the first team for the last 5 minutes. And then when you got subbed on, I thought that's when we was going to lose it. I was like, no, not Dyer, anyone but Dyer. God, even bring on Tanganga.
Yeah, that's
true.
Right?
Someone other than Dyer, and then I look through social media today to find out that Eric Dyer's been given another contract. I'm like, how is this guy stealing a living at centre back?
He's already been given a contract.
Yeah, there's a thing online of him sitting there in his prissy little lovely suit with a contract and a smile on his face. So I'm sitting there thinking, how is this guy getting away with getting a contract every year? He must have some dirt on Daniel Levy or something to keep getting contracts because it's just ridiculous. As for the match, we had pretty much most of the ball for most of the game, which I would have gathered against Palace anyway, especially when you're playing against the L wannabe. Oh, sorry, my dog's going a bit nuts. Yeah, just basically Palace set up the way they have done since management's changed. They haven't really progressed, really, apart from avoiding relegation. And as a Brighton lad, I'd really love to see Palace out of the Premier League now. It's a stench that I can't stand in the Premier League next to West Ham, but at least I'd rather have West Ham than Palace up.
But
Wait, do you support Brighton?
No, I'm a Tottenham fan, but I'm in Brighton.
Yeah. Big up the Carlson.
Most Tottenham fans hate. Out of the London clubs, most Tottenham fans in order hate Arsenal, then West Ham, then Chelsea, and then whatever else.
Well, as I said, I grew up as a Brighton boy. I grew up in the Brighton youth team before my injury. Us Brighton boys are sort of hate Palace than everyone else after, you know. So I hate anyone in London that isn't Tottenham. Huh?
Who do you hate more, Palace or Arsenal?
I'm a Brighton boy, so I'm going to say Palace, but I hate them just as equally as much as Arsenal. So
you're a Brighton boy, but you support Tottenham.
It's a family thing. It's a family thing. There's pride with my family. It runs right back to my great-granddad, Tottenham, so...
Yeah, you can't run away from that. Yeah. But to tell you the truth, guys,
when my son has no choice in this matter, it's a family thing. He's got his first shirt. That's it. Done.
Yeah. But for me, to tell the truth, right, guys, during the last 10-15 minutes, we were more or less being pressured by Crystal Palace for them to get that equalizing goal. I was doing the watch along in a certain way. We kept saying we need that second goal to secure the position. We need that second goal to secure the position, right? So, but at least we hanged on and we got through. And like we said, when Dyer was brought on, that fear even grew even bigger. But
yeah,
at least
I felt my shrinker like shrivel up a little bit when Dyer came on. I was like, oh no, really? I was like, no, please don't. I'd just keep Langley on, even if he has got a broken arm. Just keep him playing.
Oh yeah, because Langley. Oh yeah, because Langley he got a yellow card for that foul, right? When he stretched
lost
out
his
arm,
balance, tripped, and then kind of looked like a crab chop, as what we used to call it in American football. Kind of came over with his arm and took the other player out.
Yeah. And then he got injured, and then he was substituted, right? So, but that's Corey Boy's son. He's behind it, so he's somewhere in the room. So don't worry. There is nothing nefarious going on there.
Nothing sinister.
Yeah. Okay, since Angarot's here, right? All right. Liverpool played Brentford, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Liverpool Brentford, right? Angarot, with this score lying around and with all the results happening around, right? You guys have a chance to actually get into top 4.
The way I look at it is this: it's not over till it's over. You understand what I'm saying? And as long as there's hope, as my friend said, Liverpool 12th man. As long as there's hope, we will still believe in the Reds doing it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now, there's a possibility. There's a good possibility that we could do it. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean, I don't want anybody to clip me up. It doesn't mean we're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? It just means there's a possibility there. There's a chance there for us to get it. You know what I mean? And we can take it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because like results going our way in the way of like we're getting our results, because that's the only thing we can do. The only thing we can do is play our game and get the results. Yeah. And hope other teams around us and they slip up like they did this weekend. Arsenal beat Newcastle. Man United lost against West Ham. The two London teams done it. Do you know what I mean? That's what we could have hoped for this weekend is for Man United to get beat and Arsenal to beat Newcastle. Do you understand what I'm getting at? You know what I mean? Now, if results and they keep on going our way, yes, there's a great possibility of us getting in the top 4. But all we can do is play our games. Now, I always said, yeah, like this guy said on this other podcast, and I didn't get to go on, and he was saying it today, sort of like it's impossible at the end of the day for Liverpool to catch us, meaning because he's Man United, right? And because I see Liverpool dropping points, yeah. So I asked him a question, and which it hasn't been answered yet. Where do you see us dropping points? Because I don't see it. I don't see us dropping points in our remaining games. And so far, touch wood, we haven't dropped points. Do you know what I mean? But Man United obviously have. They've dropped points. They dropped points against Brighton, and a couple of days later, they dropped points against West Ham. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Can you pull that last comment up so I can read it again about Pochettino there? Thank you.
This one from Ellie. Is there anything about Pochettino? The decision Daniel Levy made to put up the street with no pedal. Of course, been doomed, finishing Champions League progress. Right, he needs to go as he has made us failures. Yep, that's a rant against Levy. Right?
Yeah. So basically, in the day, so all we can do in the day is play a game. Now, another thing as well is like the two games that we played at home, and we obviously won 1-0, wasn't the best of games. But hey, I literally do not give a shit unless you know what I mean. If we get the 3 points, all I care about is getting 3 points. I don't care how we play. You know what I mean? You know, performance at the day to me at this time of the season is irrelevant. All it is getting the 3 points. Because I'm sure at the end of the day with obviously with the Tottenham guys, you're not really bothered about how you play. You're just bothered about getting us 3 points. You know what I mean? As long as you get 3 points, you get it, put it back, you move on to the next one. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not really bothered about it. So all these people saying that, you know, it's a boring game, it's a shit, this and that. I don't care. I literally don't care. As long as the 3 points are in the bag, that's all I care about.
I totally agree with you on that one. I mean, I would rather take 10-1-0s, play shit, and get the points than play like a sack of dog shit and lose to fucking teams like Southampton who are going down.
Exactly. You got to put some perspective on it. You got to think to yourself, look, you may not have played your best, but at least you got the 3 points, and that's literally all that counts over the Brentford game on Saturday. Yes, we could have played better, but hey, we got the 3 points. That's all that counts. We got the 3 points. Man United went down to London, tried to play football and everything that right, and what happened? They came back to Old Trafford with nothing.
I'll go back to one of your points on like Mourinho. So like with Daniel Levy and Mourinho, and then also Conte, you're bringing these two serial winning coaches. They've pointed out to you what your problems are in the club, then you get sacked. Come on, Levy, wake up and smell the shit that you've left behind, mate. You sack a manager a week before a cup final. Then you go and sack Conte for speaking the truth on some of the dead wood that's stuck in our club and kept around for sentimental reasons, or the fact that no team wants to buy him. And then you look at players that have left and gone out on loan, or players that have left in general and gone off and won things. I mean, we've had some...
wait. Hold on, Corey boy. I have to do this. Congratulations to... Hold on, Nippon. I have to say congratulations to Tanguy Ndombele. He's a Sierra winner.
Scudetto winner. Scudetto.
Yes, Scudetto winner.
Another player who's gone off and won something.
Napoli.
Yeah, he was loaned out to Napoli. Tanguy Ndombele. And he's coming back a winner. Yeah, and Kane has been stuck with us for so many years and he hasn't won anything. Yeah. And don't forget, right? And if Sevilla wins the Europa Cup, right? Brian Hill is coming back as a winner.
Not just that, there's also players that have left us and gone to Sevilla. Lamella, also the young centre back as well. What's his name? Brought in, never used, and then sold off. Can't remember his name now.
One Foyth.
He is a quality defender. Why did we sell him?
If you go back to our Spurs recruitment history, right? There's about 100 over players, right, that we brought in and sold out, right? They've won things all the past 20 years under Dan Levy. So we ain't going there. That will be a Levy out show kind of scenario. But today we were talking about football among the other clubs, right? And of course the score, Liverpool 1, Brentford 0, right? This is the score that actually tightens up the top 4 race. Spurs being at 57 points, Liverpool now at 62 points, right? Right at the heels of Manchester United at 63. And the shock result, of course, thanks to West Ham cash off, right? Giving Liverpool a chance to come into it. And of course, Arsenal beating Newcastle, that tightens up the top 4 race. So at the moment now, I'm sure Uncle Ross will be saying it doesn't matter how we play, just as long as we get the points. I've been saying for so long, right? With Mourinho there, with Conte there, right? In the end of the day, if you want to watch the beautiful game, we play like what call with the flair and the finesse and all that, right? And still get 0 points, right? It's in the long run, it doesn't add up for me, right? Somehow or another, there must be balance between that, right? If you can get the balance now, right, which is what actually I would say now what Manchester City has, right? That is what Spurs or actually any other club try to aim for. But when you talk about Manchester City, unless you're talking about Nippon, right, from Chelsea, which your owners are willing to just throw up the money to get in the talent, young talents, right, and to develop, it's going to be a very hard thing because no. Even we're a top 6 team, right? We in the past 3 years we've spent 500 million pounds, right? And we have not gone any forward anywhere. That's the sad part. Liverpool, at least, when you brought in after which one? The season that you missed out, and when you brought in Van Dijk and Alisson, right? That changed. That 2 players, just 2 players, changed the whole outlook of your squad and the team, right? And you all went out and won most of everything that was available, right? From the Premier League, Champions League, the FA Cup, UEFA Cup. I'm not sure. Did you guys win the club World Cup?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, you won the Cup World Cup. So that is hell of a achievement, right? For that.
It's probably what it is. I mean, like, if you're lucky enough to identify what you actually need, and in order to make you go forward at the end of the day, it's good. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't work for all teams. I mean, if Chelsea's problem to me at the end of the day, it's not players. It's not buying the players. It's not having the players. The problem is at the end of the day, it's having a manager at the end of the day that they can build something with, like consistency with a manager. That's the problem, you know what I mean? Because when you start changing, when you got a manager there that comes in, will come in and he'll win something, yeah, and he'll be there for 2 years, and then you get rid of him because either results start going sort of like not your way, or he says something in a day that sort of like you don't like, then get rid of him and you go on to the next one, and you keep on doing that. After a while, what will happen at the day, you run out of managers to go and get. There'll be nobody other managers going to get. So then at the end of the day, right, you have to sort of like go with your people like Graham Potter, which was never going to be a Chelsea fit. He was never going to be a Chelsea fit, right? So you've got to get rid of him, and then you get in Lampard. Which at the end of the day, if he didn't work the first time, it's not going to work the second time. Especially in the day when he went to a club called Everton in the day, right? And then he got relegated with Everton in the day, and you're bringing him back to your club at the end of the day, right? You know, it's not going to work. The thing is with Chelsea now,
but Uncle Rod, what I see with Chelsea is right. The things that they have the players there now at the moment, they have a real squad of talent there, but
they've got a squad of 36 players. They need to chop some wood
They've got a bunch of individuals. They've got a bunch of individual players.
They need the manager to come in to gel them, to turn them into a proper football team, right? Like for what Mane is going through now as an Arsenal guy, right? You have your first 11. Mane is more or less going through the phase like when we had Poch. We had the first 11 or 12 or 13 strong players, right? Along the way during the seasons that we were going on. But when the time came that when injuries came along, your squad gets decimated. You don't have the the squad to continue, right? So at the moment now, like you see teams like, for even like West Ham, right? With Peshav there, while their owners are buying in more talented players, more high-priced players, but when you get a manager like Moyes there playing the football that he plays, right, a more defensive counter-attacking team, right? He, as a West Ham fan, he's not satisfied. He wants to see that flair. See, so now it comes down to what we come down to is like, now Liverpool has beat Brentford 1-0. You beat Fulham also 1-0, if I'm not mistaken, right? You're going to this 1-0.
The game before.
Don't forget, Uncle Ross, Spurs was smashed 6-1 by Newcastle. We drew 2-2 with Manchester United. and we lost 4-3, right, at Anfield to you guys, remember last week, right? And we conceded 3 early goals. But when all of a sudden, when we out this 1-0 scoreline against Crystal Palace, right, it becomes like, oh, it's, you know, how you know how things have turned out, you know, how we gel back again, ding ding dang dang again. It goes back to that square one again, right? Is that 1-0 game not conceding, right? How you say, give us a foundation to build on.
Yeah.
But
You
the
need
thing is that when you watch the football, right, it wasn't that flair, it wasn't that all-out attacking, it wasn't that full press game that what the fans demand. But they would still take the 1-0. So that's how I believe.
Yeah, you know,
right?
it just comes down. It just, to me, at the end of the day, when it comes down to situations like that, it's not about how you play. It's about just getting results. Just get in there, get the result, and get out. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how you play. You know what I mean? Because you already know at the end of the day, the club at the end of the day is in sort of like, you know, obviously disarray. It's like us now. We already know at the end of the day we've had a really rubbish season. We've had a bad season at the end of the day, right? And literally at the end of the day, we just want to get in and get out of this season and rebuild for next season. Do you understand what I'm saying? So any positive result that we get going forward in these last run of games and everything like that, right, is good. Don't matter how you play. It's just literally at the end of the day, getting in, getting that result, and getting home. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause you know you got bigger problems that need to be sorted out. Do you know what I mean? And they're not going to be sorted out sort of like in 1 week, 2 weeks, or a month. It's going to take a while to sort out. But in the meantime, what you can do is get the results on the pitch. No matter what, just get the results on the pitch, and you can get yourself to sort of like some kind of like continuity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the sad thing is that, like, for like our squad now, I mean our club now, right, Uncle Ross, we don't even have a manager, right? Since we sacked Conte March 26th, right? There's no fixed identification of who's coming in. We've lost our director of football because of the Italian scandal, right? And whatever is happening now, right? So we still are waiting, right? But Elias is asking Corey Boy, all right, do you know anything about Michael Cooper from Plymouth?
Not Scooby Doo. I
Okay,
don't know who Michael Cooper is. Is he a
Yeah, he
manager?
doesn't
Is he a
know that.
player? Sorry,
he's supposed to be a
unless-
goalkeeper, right? A goalkeeper that we are supposed to be looking at, right? At the moment now,
another
we look at
goalkeeper
Lloris.
we're looking at.
Yep, another goalkeeper we're looking at.
Add that to
right?
about 10 goalkeepers we've got on the list already. Yeah,
that comes back to the question from this one, right? From Ravi. Ravi's question to us Spurs fans, right? Signing a new keeper, example, Raya. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Raya, right? But at the moment, where's Raya playing? Brighton?
No, Raya is at Brentford.
Oh, Raya's at Brentford. The question is, will he come? That's another question, right?
And then he would.
I mean, if you pay the money, he would, right? To take over from Lloris. But the most problem is that if Raya comes, he wants to come in straight away as the first choice. He ain't going to be the understudy to Lloris for 1 more year, right? That's how I see it.
This is where we just need to shoot Lloris now. Get him. Like, thanks for your service, mate. Thanks for your 10 years. Thanks for not going to United or Madrid. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
he threw his toys out at Newcastle. He faked an injury. I'm putting it down to he's lost his bottle to play for us. That's why I'm looking at it now. I've got a list of about 6 goalkeepers that I would like to see at Tottenham. But it's a case of if Daniel Levy would pay the money for some of these goalkeepers, and some of them are very good young prospects as well. So you've got the young Belgium lad.
Yeah. You look at prospects, then that would be the best kind of keeper for best kind of player for Daniel Levy, right? So, and of course, Ravi's got a question for you, Uncle Ross, right? Thoughts on the way Liverpool create chances? Oh, that's going to be
with the fact of what they've changed, like Trent's position. You know what I mean? He's more of an inverted right back. You know what I mean? So he's getting involved in midfield. You know what I mean? I think that's made the difference in sort of like the way that Liverpool's playing now and the way that they're getting the results, because he's getting into midfield, and he's passing, and like look at the pass he did for Darwin Núñez in the Brentford game. You know what I mean? When he just literally lifted it over, and all Darwin needed to do was slot in the back of the net. So most of the chances that's being created are coming through Trent Alexander. Now, I've always been an advocate of Trent playing in midfield, because that's what he was when we come out in the academy. He was a midfielder, you know what I'm saying? But obviously, there was no space in midfield. The only space was at right back. So they said that, you know, go to right back and go to right back. But I think now Klopp's seeing it that he has to, going forward, he has to play him in midfield. So most of the chances that that are being created by Trent through like midfield. You know what I mean? And he's creating some brilliant chances. Do you know what I mean, for people with his passing ability? His passing ability is just second to none. Do you know what I mean? And now he's more closer because from right back in the field he was doing a good job. But I always thought, and they look, if you get more closer in play, like midfield, you'll see what he's really all about, and he's creating some brilliant chances.
I've got something to say on Trent there. I don't see him as a defender at all. Like what we did with Pedro Porro at the weekend, the guy needs to be further up the pitch for you. He's got such a creative spark, and go outside another right back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think we've got the same problem. Well, we had the same problem. Do you know what I mean? I think having Trent more into midfield, one, at the end of the day, it could save you money. It could save you money at the end of the day, because then all you have to do then at the day is go out and buy like a backup midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Spend about 30 or 40 million. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you won't have to spend this astronomical money because you already got like a good midfielder there. Put him in midfield, make him play the number 8. Do you know what I mean? And if you're going to go out and buy another right back, go out and buy another right back. But we've got this guy called Calvin Ramsey that we bought from Aberdeen. You know, he's supposed to be good, but he's been injured for so like for the rest of the season because he's got some growth problems and stuff. But if you want to go out and buy, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. If you want to go out and buy another right back, yeah, as like, you know, good cover, then yeah, you go and do that. But Trent going forward has to play in midfield. You know what I mean? As you say with Pedro Porro, you're probably thinking as well. Going forward, these guys have to play in midfield. They can affect the game more if they're playing in midfield, much less you put them as right back. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I saw the lineup for Tottenham. It was like playing Kane in behind Richarlison. Okay, but I mean, you could have played Kane up front, Kulu in the middle behind Kane, and put Porro on the right. Now that, to me, I think is the way we should go.
There you go.
As Tottenham going forward. That would just make my eyes water seeing them three just run with Kane.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
but the thing is, at this moment of time, right, we've got 3 games left in the season, right? So I guess more or less like what Uncle Ross is saying, right? The focus is to number 1, because the past 3 games we've been conceding goals like crazy. So I think what Mason had done is to focus on the defense, take out Dyer to try to see if he does put Romero as center back, will that work out? So I guess that has worked out against Palace. So because the next game coming up, we're up against Villa at Villa Park. And will he stick to the same formation and that same style of football to try to eke out the result against that? That's what we have to see, right? So every game coming up now, right, is going to be crucial because for us, to tell the truth, I guess for us is to maintain our position to stay in the Europa League Cup position and try not to fall.
Every game now is like a cup final, isn't it? Leading up to the end of the season now.
Yeah, but then you know what happens when Spurs go to cup finals, right?
Kane doesn't turn up.
Do you know what? The 2 things, right? 2 things I will say, right? The best season for English football, right? And I'll say this: best season for English football is when Liverpool and Tottenham got into the Champions League final. That was the best season for football. That's the best season for football. That was asking on because
don't agree with the penalty though.
Well, no, it's semantics, blood. Semantics, blood. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that's the best sort of like, you know, time for football. Do you know what I mean? And like, if you look at sort of like even the game before, where we like had the massive comeback with Barcelona, yeah, and then the following night you lot went and did the same thing out in Ajax. You know what I mean? You went to do it with Ajax.
Yeah, well, Lucas Moura turned up for 1 match and has done nothing since.
Listen, you can think about it, that game at the end of the day was phenomenal. That game was phenomenal because I thought at the end of the day, right? No, we can't have another great comeback like we did last night. And lo and behold, we did. Do you know what I mean? I just think that time at the day, that season, and there was was the best advert at the day for British football. It showed the world at the day what British football was about.
Right? As a Spurs fan, right? I'll run to that final, scraping. I mean, just it was it was like a magic kind of thing because we magically passed to get past Manchester City, magically passed to get past Ajax to reach the final. I guess by the time we reached the final, right, we all spent out. You know?
Yeah, we was.
Kane was injured.
And to tell you the truth, that game, Kane shouldn't have played. Simple as that.
No, you should have. No, you should have played Lucas Moura. You should have started with Lucas Moura.
Yeah, we should have started with Moura, and then we see what happens with Kane. Kane should have come on a sub, right, further down the game, right, and not play starting. At least give Moura a chance to prove himself to do something. If he couldn't, then take him off and bring on Kane. But
remember we started. Remember we started with thing, remember we started at the day with Bobby Firmino that just come off injury as well. We shouldn't have started because remember at the day like he took him off, and he brought on Divock Origi, and then obviously Divock Origi sealed it towards the end. So there were some mistakes that was made that night. There were some players at the day that probably shouldn't have played. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but when you look at Tottenham at the day, right? I just think at the day sometimes at the day like sometimes they're one manager away of being great, or like two players away of being great. You know what I mean?
More than 2 players away from being great. If you look back to when Poch came in, he cleared out 12 to 13 players that he didn't want there, and built the core of the team around Jan Vertonghen and I can't remember the other Belgian kids.
Toby Alderweireld
Toby Alderweireld.
Yeah, we also had back then. We also had Kyle Walker. Danny Rose was playing phenomenally back then, and then we had a midfield that was actually competent enough to do something. You had Eric Eriksen, you had Modric. And you look back at the players that we've sold off, and you think, how could we not keep these players? All right, Madrid's come knocking at your door. Are you going to go to? But you go back over the last 5 to 10 years, the players that Tottenham have gone, let go. Dembele was in fact emphatic for us. Eriksen was our playmaker. We had prime Dele Alli at one point worth 120 million. Now you could probably buy him for a pack of Freddos.
No.
I feel so bad for Ali on that.
Dele Alli, you will have to pay the team to take him.
That Dembele guy, where did he go to? Dembele, where did he go?
Both his knees shot out, and he went back to Belgium, I think.
Yeah,
he was such a player.
He was such a baller. I mean, Fulham on their hands for years had such a great player, and then we brought him, and it elevated our midfield up a notch with Modric and Dembele and Eriksen. Then you had Ali playing behind Kane with Son out on the wing floating. That was probably some of our best football.
Yeah.
And then you go 5, 6 years down.
I want to ask the Rods, right? Your Liverpool number 2, Kelleher. I've seen him play a couple of times,
He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Why he's not getting any chance? Yeah, of course, Mike Maignan, but Mike Maignan is in AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he ain't coming anywhere near us, right? So I think that Kelleher being number 2 at Liverpool, I wouldn't mind him coming in to take over Lloris's position.
Who's that young French goalkeeper? I'm trying to think of his name.
From where? Leeds? Meslier?
No, not Leeds, not Meslier. There's one that's playing in the French league. I've always had my eye on him. I can't remember his name now.
Alban Lafont.
Yeah, Lafont. He is a very good young goalkeeper. You've got the young Belgium kid. He's like 6'7", great shot stopper, commands his area, and he's only 21. You should be looking at him.
Casteels.
It's not Casteels. It's I can't remember his name. I've got a list on my phone saved about 6 goalkeepers Tottenham I'd dream to get, but they're not going to pay the money for these guys,
The thing is about Kelleher, Kelleher, if they say like getting somebody like Kelleher, right, in his squad will be good because at the end of the day, right, he knows the Premiership. You know what I mean? He's got Premiership experience. I always think certain times that when you get some of these like obviously foreign players, don't get me wrong, I'm all for sort of foreign players, but the risk is at the end of the day, are they going to adapt to like the Premiership? and how quick are they going to adapt to the Premiership? Do you know what I mean? And some players at the day, right? Some players like Erling Haaland at the day, right, could come in and smash it, yeah. But what you got to think
Haaland's
about,
a whole different beast, though. The guy is god tier.
Yeah, but what you got to think about,
Haaland is a totally different category of an animal kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
but he should be playing for England.
Is he going to be like that? Is he going to be like that next season? That's what you got to think. Is he going to be like that next season?
No, you never know. He could be even better next season, right? But what I'm saying, like the goalkeeper situation, right? Like Kelleher has played before in the Premier League, so that if he comes in, right, he'll be just a good slot to take over the Lloris position, and we've seen him do good. But the only problem now is that we have not seen him enough. Does he play back? Does he have the skills that is actually needed, right? But before anything else goes on, right, guys, Dr. Ramlan has to make a move, right? It's more or less close to his bedtime, right? Because he's got things to do tomorrow morning.
Good night, Doctor.
Yeah.
Good night, Doctor.
All right, good night, Doctor. All right, we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him next week, right? Let's see what happens next week, right? But as things go on, right, being how you say it, a good goalkeeper, right, is your defense. It starts from your goalkeeper that gives the defenders confidence, right, to be good defenders. You get what I'm saying now? But of course, everything has to be we call a symbiotic kind of relationship. It goes through the team. It starts from the back all the way up because it doesn't start from the front and come back down. You see, a lot of managers says, right, strong defenses win things. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, strong defense always wins titles.
Yeah, strong
as
defense.
a goalkeeper myself, I was a solid goalkeeper as a kid, and I always got patted on the head by Adam Alab. Now he played professional for Brighton. I didn't end up doing my knee in, but it all trickles down from having a solid goalkeeper to having two centre backs that you could rely on. I had that throughout my youth career. Then, unfortunately, my injury happened 2 weeks after my 16th birthday. I got told just before my 17th I'd never play sports again. But seeing Lloris make fundamental mistakes that he has made, that is drilled out of you when you're a kid growing up through the youth ranks, is embarrassing to me. I mean, I look at some of the mistakes, right? I'm not going to say I was a perfect goalkeeper. Every goalkeeper makes a mistake, but the stuff that he is making is just comical. Then it trickles down throughout the team, you know, because once you start seeing your goalkeeper letting in a few absolute howlers, then the defence starts playing crap. But then we haven't had the defence since Jan Vertonghen left us, really. If you look at it that way, our defence has been shocking for nearly 5 years, relying on Eric Dyer, a player who Pochettino didn't rate. You know.
But guys, to tell the truth, it's time to wrap up the show. We've reached the 1.5 hours mark, right? All the guys in the chats, right? Don't forget, give a good go there and subscribe to Uncle Rod's and Phil Uncle Rod's, right, on YouTube. And of course, not to forget NS Sports TV for Nippon, right? Nippon for Nippon, right? And Mani at the moment, I'm not sure whether he's still in the background because I only can see an icon there, right? I'm not sure.
I'm here. Don't worry.
Okay, Mani. Any news on what's your next plans?
No, I'm not Mani. I thought you were talking about me.
Oh, Nippon. Yeah, not Mani. I'm not sure whether it's there. Nippon is around. Of course, Nippon is around, right? Nippon. When's the next show, Nippon?
Tonight at 9 p.m. UK time from the podcast Football for Thought. I know you'll be asleep, so Anfield, Manny, if you want to join your Mo, then welcome. And Corey.
Yeah, Corey boy.
Yeah, I'll try and join in, my friend. Send me a link to your chat and I'll pop along for a little bit. Hopefully, little man's asleep by then. Sorry for the noises.
No.
Okay, Anfield, can you make it?
What time is it going to be? At 9 o'clock?
9 p.m.
Yeah, I should be able to make it for half an hour or so. Yeah, I'll pop in. Why not? Send me the link. Send me the link.
The link's in the podcast group.
Cool. Cheers. Curry boy, you got a channel, Curry boy?
No, I haven't got a channel, mate. Years ago, I used to play a lot of like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and I put like silly little things of me traveling around doing that. But I've taken them down recently. I just haven't got the time really to put into being online all the time. I'd love to be, but single dad. So.
Yeah. But like, I'd love to get you on a show one time. You know, because I think like you got some good insight in football still. So Maybe we can make
I
that happen.
live for football, my friend. I'll watch anything. I mean, I love football. About 7 years ago, this is a fascinating story. So like these students that come over, the EU students, EU, EF, and all that lot. We had a young gentleman come over, and now he's like a family friend. But his older brother plays for FC Clon.
See,
Luca Killian. So I'm always watching Luca's career. So it's great, and it's just fantastic. Because I'm always talking to his younger brother Yona. Obviously, he was the one that came over and stayed. He wants to be a doctor. So he's pretty decent at football himself, but his brother got picked up. But then you look back through their family lineage, and it was their granddad that was actually a professional goalkeeper back in the day as the German league was coming up young, So I've got all the insight to talk to his family. I even talk to Luca every now and then, so I get insights to see if he's starting and see if I can stick a tenner on it, make a cheeky bet. But I always say to him, you got to score because I've got to put a tenner on you,
All right. Okay. Last thoughts, right? Corey?
Last thoughts for tonight. I hope Brighton beat Everton because I can't stand any blue Liverpool supporters. Or the wannabe Liverpool supporters, I can't stand Everton. I went up there once years ago and was attacked with my granddad by some lout up there for no reason. So I just hate Everton.
Sorry about that.
I really want Brighton to smash Everton and send them down. Then they'll be the team with the most expensive stadium in the Championship for 10 years.
How do you know they'll be down there for 10 years? How do you know they won't be back up next season?
Financial fair play rules are coming. You watch, I'll get stumped next season.
Vincent Kompany did with Burnley, though. Everyone said Burnley would be there for 10 years. They came back
Burnley's
a
different kettle of fish.
They'll be back within 3 seasons. They'll be back within 3 seasons. I'm telling you.
If they run properly and get the proper recruitment, maybe they'll be back in 3 seasons. We'll never know. Maybe it's 10 years, maybe 1 season, right? But Everton is Everton. Then most probably we won't have that Merseyside derby anymore if they drop, right? So that's
nah, man. I
Liverpool
want
fans will have to look for something else.
I just want to see the Merseyside derby.
I can live with that. I can live with that.
But never mind. They will plan in a way that you guys will play.
Okay, you're saying you could live without the Merseyside derby, Uncle. Could you live without the North London derby? Eugene.
To tell the truth, right? If at the moment now, right, at where we are, I don't mind getting relegated and miss the North London derby.
Why?
I don't know. Look at this.
Look, as much as I hate Arsenal, I would never want them to go down because I'd miss playing them in London derbies.
Yeah.
To
tell the truth, right? I don't hate any teams and all that, right? My philosophy of football is that we all are football first, right? Even no matter how tribal we can get, we don't go to the sense that we go. I've never said I've hate any clubs or any teams. Or
I'm not tribal about Chelsea. I'm not tribal about Chelsea. I'm always football first.
Yeah, football first is the most important thing because to tell the truth, my objective to tell the truth, right? Football has gone too big. The money is too big, right? Everything looks very corrupt now. And to tell the truth, the fans should actually have a say in their club because the fans are the one who are putting the money into the club, right? Whether you're an international fan, whether you're a home-based fan, right? It's still the money put into the club.
Or a match day going fan.
Match day going fan, it doesn't matter. So to me, that's how I see it, right? Nippon, last thoughts?
I know this is a Spurs channel, but come on, you Blues. and road to 1K on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, road to 1K, guys. Any of you guys, please go over and subscribe to Nippon's NS Sports channel. Guguma has already subscribed to Uncle Rod's and of course Nippon, right? And Corey Boy, you've put your number into the private chat, so Uncle Rod's, you can pick that up from there.
Let me take a picture.
Right, you guys can pick it up from there and add him to whatever group chats you need to do that, right? Uncle Rod's last thoughts.
My last thoughts are is that one second. My last thoughts are you're running a brilliant channel. Everybody like and subscribe because this is a good guy. You know what I mean? He's got some good football thoughts. You know what I mean? He's welcoming and he's friendly, and long may this channel last. Everybody like and subscribe to his channel. Help him grow because he's running a brilliant channel. Those are my final thoughts. you know?
Right, thank you, Uncle Ross. Right. And before we end the show, as usual, we'll just go to the chats to say big up to Ellie, Eva Man, Guguma, right? Who else do we have? Right,
is that Ellie from the other Tottenham channel? The
Tottenham Till I
I
Die
love
guy.
Ellie. She's great.
Yeah. And of course, Steak, big up Steak, right? Big supporter too, right? And to tell the truth, it's been a very weird thing happening now, right? It's 5-2 against Fulham and Leicester. And the thing is, if Leicester goes down, right, a lot of players in Leicester, right, they're all up for the picking for the top teams, right? If I see that,
they're not just also with that, they've got a lot of players that are out of contract at the end of the season as well. So
Tillerman's one, isn't it?
Yeah, Tillerman.
I think if Jamie Vardy doesn't renew his contract, I have a funny feeling he ends up at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, big up the Carlson. Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United?
Wednesday,
okay. Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday is
because
back in London.
He's a boyhood Sheffield Wednesday fan.
Yeah, Guguma, big up the Guguma. Oh, he's a big boyhood.
Cole, my son's currently chilled out on his pad with a headset on, watching Monsters Inc. I think. It's the film that always chills him out.
Okay, that's good. And of course, the Mark Cousins, big up the Mark Cousins, right? Who else do we have, right? Alexander, who else do we have? Scott M, big up to Scott M, big up to Robbie, right? Big up to all you guys in the chat. Big up to Ben Kaufman, right? Big up to Leo, right? And of course, Brian Daigle, my brother.
Oh, Daigle's here. Hey, Brian.
Brian.
Daigle was here earlier because I think he hopped in for a while. And of course, Luca, a good friend too, right? Tony Rodriguez, big up to Tony, right? I guess you're saying big up to all you guys. And thanks for you guys in the panels for joining us. I can't get the last thoughts of Mani because Mani is stuck on the icon face.
Where do Spurs go in the summer? Hopefully selling a lot of deadwood and bringing some players in that are competent enough to play the game of football.
Yeah. And of course, the Sheffield Wednesday supports, big up to all. Who else we have? Madison, right? Score the penalty is 5-2 now, right? I've got this theory, right? I think because I'm not sure about the parachute payments thing going on, right? So maybe Leicester is going for that. They need the cash, right? So let's see how.
There's also a thing about the parachute payments over the next few seasons. They're supposed to be getting more money going down now.
Get less money, They're supposed to get less money.
By the way, I have news from the Championship. Blackburn are in the playoffs.
Go on, Blackburn, bring him back up. Maybe you might be able to get Shearer out of retirement.
Yeah. So let's see how that goes. Mani, any last thoughts?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, man. He can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Yeah. No real last thoughts except I would like to see this league get over. Looking forward to that. And I think I'm going to speak for every single one of us who's either on the panel now or who's come on the panel before when I say that if we never ever see the World Cup being held in December, it will be too soon. And if that means the Middle East will never get to host the tournament again, too bad.
I think they've come to the conclusion. That's never going to happen.
A lot of people will think you're being racist towards Middle Eastern people now, Manny.
I lived in the Middle East for 6 or 7 years. I could never be racist.
I'm French Palestinian myself. I really didn't want it to be held there because of human rights and so forth. The fact it's in the middle of a damn season, it should have just not gone there.
Yeah, it should have gone on in the middle of the damn season. That's all. Should have just gone on in the middle of the damn season.
Yeah,
you know where
I think it's the weather. I think it's the
a new country that should host the World Cup. Hindustan Zindabad.
You know what it was for me, and I think what was for me, sort of like quickly, what was for me, it was just the weather. It wasn't because of the human rights, because what it is in there, when you look at human rights in itself, and right, when you look at across the world, it's not only just the Middle East with the human rights; it's everywhere else with the human rights.
I'm going to tell the truth, right? Human rights thing is not only there. It's everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Everywhere.
It was always the weather for me. I didn't think about human rights. It was always the weather.
Next time, if you really wanted to have, if they wanted to have it in the Middle East next time, play it in the summer and let them dry out in the summer there. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Here's my take on it. no, at the end of the day, no one will care about human rights if it's in. Like, look, everything we wear, clothes, everything we drive, your AirPods, everything is made through human rights abuses.
True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
So
So
if
we
we
ain't
really
going there.
cared about human rights, we'd be living in the jungle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is the end of the show. The human rights debate will go on in the back room. All right, guys. Take care. Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Bye.
Take care.
We got.
Oh yeah, and not to forget then. And as always, Levy out.
And Enoch. And Lewis.